Cool. Well, thanks for coming, man.
Thanks for having me, Chris.
How you been?
I've been alright, man. Proper busy sorting out stuff with the label and the club night, Future Retro London.
Yeah.
Before I get that out first.
Yeah, you know, you have to get it out first. Yeah, well, that's the thing, because you were saying in there, because so I love the fact that you walked in the room and you weren't fucking Subject 13. You just
Yeah.
Yeah,
I didn't know you lived with him.
Yeah, I've been here.
Am I allowed to say that?
Yeah, you can, yeah, it's absolutely fine, yeah. I live here with Subject 13, for those of you who know, is a legendary it's not old, but a legendary atmospheric artist, I guess people, I'd say that. Yeah. And I was a fan of his as well, like a lot of people of my generation, and you know, it's an honour to live with him now, and it's great to see him on RNS.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And
has that been announced publicly?
Yeah, because the album is coming out next year, and then the track Dripping Sauce is out now, so go and get it.
Yeah. Cool.
It's been a real education living here with him, and you know, I've learnt a lot, and I consider him to be part of my family now. So
very nice.
So I can't complain. Yeah. But you said 14 countries this year. You said you played in.
So this year I've played in about 14 countries or something ridiculous.
Yeah,
it's been absolutely a mental year so far. Really.
And I mean, how's that been?
It's been very challenging because I still work full time.
Yeah.
And that means that I've had to take a lot of like time off work to do all the travelling and stuff. And then when I'm back, it's like, I need to finish remixes. I need to do radio for either NTS or Jungle Train.
Yeah.
And then I also need to spend time with the missus.
You're going to give Mrs. a shout?
Hi, Ma, if you're watching.
How you doing? Sorry, but Jungle needs your boyfriend. So, you know, it's just one of those things. You're a Jungle widow, clearly.
Business trip.
Well, can't she come with you on some of them?
She can, but...
So I'm putting you in shit now.
No. Basically, before I met her, she'd never been to a club before.
Oh, wow.
So she's not really a clubbing kind of person.
Right.
And she's grown to love jungle, but she doesn't really like staying up late and stuff. She's teetotal like I am, so like she really feels the tiredness.
Yeah.
So like, she picks and chooses when she comes.
Right. And what was the name again? Sorry.
Her name's Marta.
Marta, right? Okay.
Yeah, been together for about 4 years now. I think.
Yeah. It's going well.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll blink twice.
Exactly. No, it's good, man. No, it's good. Well done, Marta, for putting up with him. Yeah. But I mean, so how long because I'm trying to think how long I've known you now.
Since 2010, Chris.
2010.
Yeah, I
12
think
years.
I was about 17 then.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, under the legal age.
Yeah. Well, that sounds a bit dodgy. What do you mean? But like, I mean, well, you've always been someone that, you know, like, I mean, it's funny because the comparison, I mean, his name hasn't been brought up that much on this podcast, but you always reminded me of Breakage because because I remember, you know, sort of like their immense talent at a very young age, and it was always clear that you were gonna do well in this scene, and I'm immensely happy that you have done.
Ah, thanks, Chris.
And it's no, I do mean that. But it's like it's been brilliant to watch what's happened, sort of like, especially, would you say last sort of 3 years?
Yeah, I'd say about last 3 years.
Yeah.
It's going mental at the moment.
Yeah.
Me and for jungle as a whole, really.
So, well, yeah, you're saying that. What do you think that it's been attributed to? What do you think that's been down to?
I think there's quite a few factors, really. Like I want to probably say, I don't know, really. I feel like at some point, just labels outside of jungle, like Lobster Theremin, Sneaker Social Club, and a few other labels that sort of dabble in different kind of styles suddenly started dipping their toes in the jungle scene and putting jungle in the ears of people that had like probably never heard it before or didn't know it was still being made in the retro style currently, and combined with people coming through like Sherelle and Nia Archives who have like these really like warm personalities online that people can really buy into. And I don't know what else you'd say. I think also there's been like the Beautifully Crafted Jungle Group as well. Yeah. Because like when that started, it really grew really quickly, I think.
It did. Shout out to Beautifully Crafted Jungle. Yeah. Absolutely loved that
I think
group.
They've got like 16,000 members.
Wow.
Ridiculous in their group.
That's brilliant.
Like, at the time it was really, really popular for like if you post new stuff on there or old stuff. It just like there was like people that were like paying attention to it, and I think it all sort of felt like a perfect storm in a way, I guess.
I mean, I love the Atmospheric Independent. Is it Atmospheric Appreciation Society? I can't remember them now. Oh damn it! I should have given them a shout properly. But there's a group on Facebook there as well, which is sort of mainly about that sort of atmospheric, or I mean, I don't like calling it intelligent, but you know what I mean, that sort of style of jungle as well. So you've got like a renewed appreciation for that sort of style as well. Okay. You know what I mean? So I mean, talk to me about Future Retro then, because obviously now you've been doing this now for about a year, I would say.
2 years.
2 years. Okay.
Yeah. So. The way Future Retro started, it's a bit weird. That basically, I was playing this night in London. I probably shouldn't say the name, but basically, it was a free night, and there was a really good lineup. But when I got there, there's probably about like maybe 40 people there or something like that. It was at Work Bar in Angel.
Oh, okay.
And I was on last, and by the time I did my set, there was about 5 people there. By the time I finished my set, there was about 2 people there. And there wasn't enough money to get paid, so I got 20 quid for my travel. Then when I went home, and next day I had a daydream where basically it was me in the future, probably like 10 years from now, being interviewed by a journalist, and the journalist was asking me questions about my involvement in the jungle scene and stuff like that. And one question they asked me was, I was like involved in the jungle scene, and then it all sort of fizzled out, and what were my reasons, what did I think were the reasons for that? And I gave my reasons in a dream, but then one reason that stuck with me was that I felt like there wasn't really like a physical space that celebrated just the new old school jungle. I felt like Distant Planet is very much like the vinyl 93, 95 sound, and then Rupture has a bit of that, but they also have a bit of like the newer stuff that's sort of like coming out on your label and Cywax, and then they also have old school as well. So like I didn't really feel like there was this one night where it's like maybe you get like me, Dward, Kidlib, Coca, Bryce, Sully, FFF, all these like people making new stuff all in one room for a crowd that are all there just to hear the new tunes. I didn't really feel like there was that kind of space. And in a dream I was like, if I could travel back in time, I would start my own club night for this and see where it would take me. And then after that came out of that dream, I was like, promoting is probably my least enjoyed job in music. It's something I told myself never do that. I would sooner do anything. I'd sooner probably, I don't know, clean the toilets, the clubs,
the clubs rather than promoting.
Actually be the promoter. But I had this idea and I really wanted to try it out and give it a go. And I was just talking to people about it just to sort of see if I was like insane or not, if I was like stepping on anyone's toes or anything. And eventually I drafted up a lineup. So it was going to be me, Coca Bryce, Dward, Sully and Dead Man's Chest. And I wanted to do the night in South London because at the time I was living in Rotherhithe and I didn't want to travel far for it basically. I was a bit lazy, so I was like, alright, there's a few clubs in Peckham, so I hit up Rywax and they ignored me for months. And I was at a loss of what to do, and then there was a newer club that opened just called Peckham Audio, and Club Glow were doing their nights there, so I went down there to check it out, see what it was like, and I really liked the venue, so I got in touch, and then they gave me a date, and I was like, alright, cool. So started up the socials for it, did the promotion for it, the tickets sold pretty well, and then the pandemic happened, and had to postpone the night by about nearly 2 years, in fact, probably about a year and a half. But in the time that it was postponed, I'd sort of built up a bit of a following online promoting the night. And then during the lockdown, I sort of had this idea of doing like a collaborations, either an album or a series of releases. And I was racking my head trying to think of what label I work with that would sort of facilitate this idea of mine, give me complete creative control over who's on it or the tunes on like and how it's packaged, and I couldn't think of anything. So then I was like, I've started up Future Retro. It was meant to be club night, but maybe I'll just pivot to record label for the time being and sort of just see how that goes, and then that's just taken off ridiculously.
It's done really well.
I've put out about 18 releases so far since July 2020, I think. And I've got even more than that lined up for next year.
Absolutely. And it's all sort of the same ethos, so it's new music based around that sort of like 94, 95, 96.
Although I'm starting to sort of dip my toes in the newer stuff as well. Like I've got a Loxian Resound release coming on the label, and I'm trying to get Digital to do a release of me, so we do a bit of old and a bit of new. And also talking to Threshold as well, because I sort of after so many releases covering loads of people that I really like and enjoy, putting out some of my stuff as well, I sort of feel like there's this other side, the new stuff that I do like, and I sort of feel like it wouldn't go amiss if I presented it on the label as well. So I'm starting to do a bit of both.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been going really well. I'm really grateful for how well it's taken off, and like, yeah.
So is it just you, or is that you and Duard mainly?
No, it's pretty much just me running it. Yeah.
Right, okay.
So I do all the artwork. I use a fulfillment company in Hackney to post the records out.
Okay.
But I also deal with all the actual manufacturing stuff as well.
Yeah.
And the club night stuff is pretty much all me as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I probably should have someone else help me.
Well, you could probably at some point, because if you're going to be doing all these gigs and everything else,
that's the thing as well.
Yeah.
I just feel like I'm spinning plates, trying to juggle everything, keep everything
So
going.
there you go. We need an intern for next year for Future Retro.
Yeah, Chris, send me your CV.
Nah, I'm alright. I'm busy enough. Cheeky bastard. Do you know what I mean? Should have heard what you're saying before we come on here, mate. It's so out of order.
I know, I was saying, Chris, you look lovely today.
Yeah.
I know that. Yeah.
No, but I've always really enjoyed what you do, and like the whole Future. It's almost become synonymous with a sound. It's that sound is almost like the Future retro sound. I mean, some people call it gentleman jungle, and I've heard different, hipster jungle and different things. But I think that's more like, I think the hipster jungle is more like the sort of slower stuff, isn't it? I think.
I'd say so.
Yeah, it's like that. So
I'd probably put like the people outside the jungle scene dipping their toes and trying to make it. I'd probably call it that.
Yeah, probably call it. Yeah, exactly. No, it is. It's like magazine like Mixed Mode. But I mean, what was your first like introduction to jungle? I mean, was it something you immediately took to, or did you come through other genres, or?
So when I was in school doing my GCSEs, I was doing media studies, and for bit of coursework I had to do an essay comparing two music magazines, and one of those music magazines was Mix Mag, and it happened to be the month where they didn't have like a house or techno mix CD on the cover. They had Andy C doing a mix on their drum and bass mix, so I listened to that out of curiosity, and the energy of it just like completely took me in, and for like a year or so I was sort of just on this like the big dance floor kind of drum and bass, like Sub Focus and the stuff coming out on Ram and Viper and Hospital. And then for a while I had a bit of a jump up phase. I found out about DJ Hype because he had a drum bass arena CD, mix CD, and I was into like listening to like Hazard and Taxman, Original Sin, that kind of stuff. And I used to rip music off of MySpace to put on my iPod, and I'd listen to that when I was coming back and forth from school. Yeah. And I found someone had set up like a fake DJ Hype profile, and they had Dread Bass and Super Sharpshooter on it, and I don't know why, but for some reason I was listening to those two tunes more so than any other tune that I knew up to then in drum bass. And through the help of like forums, because I was quite active on drum bass arena forums, they sort of
the old banana.
Yeah, the banana board.
Banana board.
And through there I was sort of able to find out that it was actually a type that the sort of a predecessor of drum bass called jungle. That was going from like 93 to 95, 96, whatever they say the divide is. And I started to sort of investigate artists, and also at the time it was like YouTube was starting to really take off, and people would set up YouTube channels to just upload loads of like jungle tunes, and I was just like, alright, find out who Chrome and Time is, listen to all the Chrome and Time tunes I could find out what labels they're on, listen through the labels discography, and just sort of like network out and sort of just like try and find out as much as I can about this music. But at the same time I didn't really know of any people really making new stuff like that. I mean, there were, but I just didn't know of it at the time. So I was like, I just sort of wanted to get involved and learn how to make it. So I just downloaded FL Studio and learned how to chop a break, and then I learned how to load samples in, and then after that I just sort of learned like the basics of making a tune, and just kept doing it.
So you just complete self-taught?
Literally, because none of my friends in school were interested in it when I was playing it to them, so it was just sort of like an online world thing. And it was like that until I was old enough to go raving. The first rave was Jungle Syndicate at the Rhythm Factory. Excellent. I think you were playing at that one actually.
Oh, was I?
Oh no, you were playing at a later one.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, later one. I remember when I went to that first Jungle Syndicate, I think that was like a month after my 18th birthday.
Oh wow, I
met so many people that I knew of online.
Yeah.
Like I met Equinox, I met Dward, I met Busy B, I met Ben K from Dalston Chili's, I met all the Jungle Syndicate crew, I met so many people. Yeah. And the thing is, basically I told my mum I'd be home by 2, so I saw 2 sets and I went home.
Oh, yes. Did you come thought you were going to tell me that. Yeah, and I come in at 5 and I was all drunk. No, but no, you're at home like a good boy.
Yeah, but I went to uni a few months after, and after that, then I was like, all right, stay
everywhere
until 6 a.m.
Yeah.
I was going out every weekend.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Jungle Syndicate are highly important.
Definitely.
I remember the first time I met all of the guys at Ribbon Factory.
Oh yes, yeah, because you used to do technicality nights at Ribbon Factory.
Yeah,
I went to a few of those.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did technicality there after we left Herbal.
Yeah,
and that's where I did get to meet. And it's weird because that's where I got to meet. What's his name? Jimmy Asquith.
Oh right, okay.
He was a promotion manager there. I don't know his name's at the moment, so I'm not, I'm not associating or whatever.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying that's where I met him. That's all I'm saying. And then he left, and he obviously went off to do Lobster Firmin and whatever else he's been doing, which has been in the press lately.
Yeah.
But I bet the Jungle Syndicate guys, and I absolutely loved what they did. I do often think, that I pissed them off though, because I remember they didn't want me to play any sort of like non-choppage tunes. Oh,
the music policy there was the hardest jungle.
The hardest jungle you could play, and I was always happy to do it. But I just think one night I think I played "Let Me Hold You" by Calibre.
Oh, big tune. Imagine that crowd, it might not have gone down.
No, it went down fine.
Okay,
but I just remember playing it, and I never got booked again. So I was like, that's a lesson learned. So you play for Jungle Syndicate, follow the ethos, because otherwise, they won't book you. Yeah. And it's absolutely fine if you've got an ethos and you've got a style, and obviously people will. I mean, I've heard about certain DJs going to Rupture and playing Jump Up, and you know what I mean? Yeah. It happens. I literally played. I had a Paradox tune before it, and I played a Choppers tune after it.
Yeah.
But I just really liked that tune because Helen liked it. She was really crap. Yeah. So that was why I played it. So it just made me laugh. But the guys were that militant, and I loved them for their militancy.
Oh, definitely.
And they've never stopped being that militant. And they're people. They're a bunch of guys that the London crew. I should speak, because I don't really know the guys in Bristol that well.
Oh, fair enough.
But the London guys, I've got a lot of admiration and respect for, and always will do. So Paul and co, I love you all and salute, and sorry for playing the Calibre tune, but I don't regret
it. You live and you learn.
Well, no, it's all right. I mean, because look, when we had technicality at Herbal.
You could play across the board, couldn't you?
Yeah, because what it was about representing the underrepresented, and people often make that mistake. People think that all the nights technicality was just pure choppage all the time. No, it wasn't. I mean, and it kind of irritates me when people think that. But one of my favourite sets was Brett. I've said it before, but Brett Clever, who used to run from Offshore Recordings. Yeah, because he came over and he had like all the sort of like Clue and. Who's all them guys that he had on his label? Basically, he was playing like Beans, and you know what I mean. He was playing like sort of the precursor to what Exit Records was. You know what I mean? A lot of that sort of like futuristic-y kind of techno-infused kind of stuff. Yeah. And I remember a couple of guests absolutely had everyone bored to tears at Technicality. Because what they were trying to do certain things at the time, and people just didn't get it, and it was a shame. And now they're huge, you know what I mean? But I'm proud to have said that they played Technicality, because I still like the sets that they play, but not everyone in the crowd. And I think that was when we got a bit more popular. People thought we were just about the choppage thing.
Oh yeah, of course.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then other people would come, certain guests would come on, and maybe not quite grab the crowd, in the way that you'd want them to. Yeah. But I always was happy with who I booked, and so it is hard, and I guess it's the same with. I suppose with Future Retro, I mean, someone can't necessarily come on there and start playing. I mean, if someone started playing a bit of Jump Up at Future Retro, you probably.
I try not to police anyone on what they play. I think it's just like if the crowd aren't really enjoying it, then that's your person to police. I think.
Yeah. Exactly. The crowd does the policing for you.
Yeah, that's the way we're saying it.
So, I mean, have you got like plenty of nights lined up?
Actually, right now I've only got one night lined up for February.
Right, okay.
The problem is, like, for the night's format, it's usually like me opening and then 3 other DJs that'll come on after. But like, because I've been so like booked up, I haven't really had much space to actually put one on. Like, I had one that was gonna be planned for like May or June, and I realised it'd be clashing with Bangface, so I had to postpone that. Right. And I can't find another date where it's like available unless it like I'll plan one for like next August or September, which seems a bit outlandish.
That seems quite far. And it has to be at Peckham.
I just really like Peckham Audio, and I'm also I don't know, like, because some of the nights have done really well, but at the same time, I'm worried about this idea of it scaling up to something really big and then losing the appeal of the night, or
Absolutely.
it becomes something where it becomes a lot of pressure to make sure it has to really succeed.
Yeah,
So it's like
Yeah.
Peckham Audio, because it sort of gives me everything I need.
Yeah. There's a few new clubs opening up in South London as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah. There's a couple of new ones. Yeah, I'll give you after we finish
Yes,
recording.
very good.
So outside of your crew, you know, because obviously you've got the guys who are, you know, you mentioned Cocker Bryce, you mentioned Sully, Dead Man Chess, who I'm, you know, massive fan of and hope to get on the podcast at some point.
Yeah.
You know, outside of that, who would you sort of like not look to, but who do you like rate, you know, or don't? I mean, there's might be people you hate, but...
No, let's talk to Ray. I'll talk about the ones I rate.
You talk about the right, okay, go on.
There's a producer from Finland, her name is DJ Sofa. I booked her for the night in July and she did a great set.
Yeah.
And I've got an EP coming from her next year, I think in March,
Yeah.
I think. I didn't mention his name, but FFF.
Yeah.
He's from Netherlands and
Yeah.
I play his music so much. He
Yeah.
just does such good stuff.
Yeah,
I've
yeah,
got
yeah.
music coming from him. I've got a lot of music coming from people. I think I've got about, so far, 70 artists on the roster.
Wow.
Yeah.
70?
Yeah, 70.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot. Well,
Yeah.
because the thing is with the labels, like, I find with a lot of labels, they have, like, not a strict form, but, like, they prefer EPs from people, like, full EPs. But for me, it's like, I try and keep it fluid. Like, either it could be a collab or a remix or a split EP or a full EP or whatever.
Right.
Just anything to get people on, because I sort of want Future Retro to be, like, one of those labels where you look back and sort of see this was, like, a snapshot of all the people that were doing stuff in this scene.
Yeah. And do you do it vinyl and digital?
Yeah, vinyl, digital and streaming. I didn't
Yeah.
want to like try and be exclusive to any kind of format. So I
Yeah.
feel like whatever format you prefer, it's there for you.
Right, okay. And do you think you'll only stick to jungle primarily, or is there plans to maybe veer off into other things?
I have no idea really, because like I listen to other stuff in my own time, but I sometimes have this idea that just because it's what I like, it's not something that other people need to know about.
Right, okay.
So like I'll make other stuff just for my own personal self. I won't really do anything with it. I'll just sit on it, or I'll just not even save it. I'll just do it for the sake of making it. And like, I don't know if it'll be like I'm just doing it for myself, or if it's like I feel like people need to hear this. But until I have that feeling, I'll probably just not bother. And just
What other
stick
stuff do you make?
with- just like, I guess I'd call it just listening music really. Not really anything for dance. More just like.
So like, what, like?
I don't know. It's like. Sometimes
Ambient, or?
it's garage, sometimes it's like, there's really slow ambient breakbeaty stuff, but not like 130 breakbeat stuff, just really slow stuff. But a lot of it is just like, just fooling around really, or just like, I find that a lot of jungle I make right now is sort of like, there's a purpose for it, like this remix has to be finished for this label, and I'm working on an EP for this label, and like, when all these tunes have a plan, it's sort of good to always try and get a tune done where it's like it's just for me, or it's for the sake of making it, or I heard a sample and it's giving me an idea. So sometimes I feel like the slower stuff is a way to get into that.
Yeah, Jesus.
Like,
Well, it's funny you mentioned remixes, but one of the things I've spoken about often, I spoke about it, it's on the video, it's on the channel, guys, you can go watch it. But, you know, about Tim having to do two remixes for Hospital.
Yeah, for the Jetstar
For the Jetstar compilation.
Yeah.
Now, I haven't really gone into much detail ever publicly, but he remixed Aswad, right? Now, I don't know, what was the tune, what was the name?
Danger in Your Eyes.
Danger in Your Eyes, right? It's a tune by Aswad, and it was queued up for the thing. And to be able to remix Aswad and make them sound amazing, as far as I'm concerned, it's part of the genius of this guy. And it annoyed me so much that you did that one. And what was the other one you did? You did the same tune twice, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, so basically, like, when they asked me to do a tune, they didn't have any of the samples or the parts of it. It basically just gave me a wave of the tune.
No, but that was the same situation that everyone was in.
Yeah, and then I did a remix of that, and they weren't really feeling it, and I think maybe, I guess you must have tugged their arm or something, give them another chance. So then
Absolutely.
it was Newtone actually, he made like an RX-7 like a cappella version, trying to remove all the music out of it. So he sent it to me, and then I had a second go at a remix, and I didn't hear anything from them, so I chased them up about it, and they said, yeah, it's not our thing.
Yeah.
And that was it really.
It's just I mean, the fact that you managed to make it so listenable and enjoyable, like, it's just annoyed me, and like, I bet, you know, and then to see, and it makes me happy in a lot of ways. I'm glad it didn't happen in a way. Do you know what I mean? Because, you know, I wouldn't want you associated with that album. You know what I mean? And you obviously learnt from that and pushed on anyway, and as a result of what happened, and me calling you out, and people got to know, not saying it's just me, obviously your talent and everything, it's shine through, but you're now playing out so much. I mean, you said you got 35 gigs already next year.
Yeah, and I think I played about 65 or 70 gigs this year.
I mean, do you still need to work full time, or?
It's the thing, so like I've had this asked a lot this year, because understandably I put out a lot and I play out a lot, so you think that the music money would actually cover my living, and this year actually has been the first year I've made money off of music, then off of my full-time job.
Yeah.
But there's like two reasons really. One is that it may sound very pessimistic, but I feel like right now we're in a really big boom for jungle, and I have no idea how long it's going to last for.
Last, yeah.
As much as I can quit my job and then come back when the boom is finished, I feel like I'm fine just working. And also another thing is I sort of feel like having a job sort of keeps me grounded from the music world, in the way of like, you can go to these clubs where everyone's like cheering when you're playing, and they come up to you, they want a picture of you, which I still find weird, but I'm getting used to. And they're like telling you how much your music's changed their lives and stuff. And
I'll never get over that.
then you go back to work on Monday and you're a normal person. I sort of feel like, for me that's been quite important to sort of keep my head grounded. And if I'm forever in this world of like thinking that I'm this and that, I'm not sure what effect it would have on my life and the way I treat people. So I sort of feel like just having a job sort of keeps me levelled in a way.
I mean, for someone so, I mean, you're 29. I mean, you're getting on a bit now.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
I know.
But relatively, you're still very young. There's still so much to come, and I think that's you're absolutely on the money. I think there's people I've met who have done not even a tenth of what you've done, and would expect to be treated in a sort of superstar fashion. And
I don't expect that at all. To me, I feel like
weird.
No one is promised anything.
No,
I think that's
it's
something
weird.
you always have to remind yourself.
Yeah, it's really weird. I mean, that was one of the problems of being at that particular company. Yeah. Because some of those artists used to behave like lower pop stars and stuff.
Yeah, I've never really gotten that.
It's just strange.
Yeah.
I mean, so where was the weirdest? Well, I say weirdest. What was the most unusual gig you played this year, or unusual?
I'd say Glastonbury Festival this year, or Glastonbury. I don't know.
Glastonbury, yeah. Right. And it was unusual because, like, well, why?
More because I went in, because the thing with festivals is I find that the crowds, you're battling for their attention span, because there's so much going on. Yeah. Like, they might want to go somewhere else, check somewhere else, they might be looking for their friend, they might be on their feet all day, so like you don't really always get the most attentive crowd. Yeah. But I expect at Glastonbury, because it's such a big scale, there's like 45 stages there or something like that, and I think this year there was like 250,000 people there. Jesus. So I sort of felt like, alright, I'm just going to go in there and just do my thing, but no one's really going to be interested. But the sets were actually fine. There was everything else around it that I absolutely hated. Yeah.
Because who was I can't remember who was headlining this year on the main stages. I can't even think.
Billie Eilish and Paul McCartney.
Oh, right.
And Kendrick Lamar as well.
Oh, Kendrick,
I saw Kendrick Lamar, but I had to leave a bit early to go play on Sunday.
Yeah.
I had a Future Retro takeover with Walton Mantra on Sunday, and I had a solo set on Friday.
Oh, amazing. Look at that, man. Just taking over the world, bruv.
It's ridiculous how much stuff is like progressing in terms of like everyone's doing really well, like Rupture doing really well, Distant Planet doing really well. Just like, it's just really nice to see, I think.
No, it's absolutely. I went to Distant Planet at MOT the other night.
Oh,
yeah, it was brilliant. It's brilliant. I watched Marlon and Coco Bryce do their thing.
Oh yes.
And shout out Hamza as well.
Oh yeah, he played Distant Planet. Yeah, I know that was his first ever rave, Distant Planet.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, because it's the first time he'd been to dance, and I don't know. I think there was something else he went to before Distant Planet, because he always said that he saw it because it was a thing that Maggie took him to see or something like that. I can't remember.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was something else. But anyway, but particularly Distant Planet, because obviously they're very focused on a particular era.
Yeah.
And I like the fact that they're not probably wrong word exactly, but they're very militant about it. I was going to say Nazi about it, but very militant.
Well, they never bend on their morals, is what I say.
No, they don't, and and I rate them for that, because it's like that period needs representing, and what was really fascinating about the crowd was that the music was so old,
Yeah.
and the crowd was so young.
I played Distant Planet. I think it was early this year. Me and Pete Devner, we did a back to back, and I looked up at the crowd. And I'm like, oh man, I'm older than you.
That's what I mean. It's brilliant to see.
Yeah,
there was a kid at the front who'd never seen a vinyl set. He'd
Wow.
never seen a vinyl set,
Wow.
and he was watching Equinox.
Oh
play
wow,
vinyl.
that's a way to debut a vinyl set.
That's how that. I mean, I wish my first vinyl set that I saw was Equinox, to be honest. But
Yeah.
like,
Yeah,
I'm trying to think who that would be.
mine was The Ward back to back with Fumzo.
Oh wow, so that's Jungle Syndicate.
Yeah, Jungle Syndicate,
Yes,
and I know
Fumzo.
Equinox and Busy Bee were playing after that.
Yeah.
in the main room. Yeah,
But did you have to go home? Would you?
yeah, I went home doing this,
Oh,
unfortunately.
boy.
I know.
Oh.
I couldn't risk getting in trouble from Mum.
No, man, that's what I mean.
Unforgivable.
That's what I mean. Respect your mum. It's like I was saying,
Yeah.
someone today. You got
Yeah.
man's got to respect their mum, man. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, you know, see, Carla, you hear that? He got home because he respected his mum. So I'm just saying that anyway.
I don't know who Carla is. So
No, you don't need to know. It's fine.
Okay,
It was just she's gonna cuss me out for saying that. But,
yeah.
no, I'm joking, babe. So future retro.
Yeah.
What's the future? Well, I mean, you got all these releases lined up.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't necessarily want to grow the venue right as yet.
Yeah.
I mean, would you want to maybe do future retro stages at festivals? I mean, is that something you'd be looking to do, or?
I've been curious about that because I've been asked a few times about future retro stages and festivals, and the problem I find with that is like it's really weird because like I feel like nowadays the way you grow is having to work with bigger people rather than having to just sort of build yourself up and just keep working. So
Well, that's what people would have you believe.
Yeah, that's exactly
Yeah, that's
it.
that's what the bigger brands would have you believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Come and put your brand under our brand, and then
Yeah.
you get bigger.
And then now elevate.
And
you
actually, no,
rather
that's
than
not how it
just
works. All
Keeping at it and just
Yeah.
building yourself up.
Yeah.
I sort of feel that's a better way to do
Yeah.
it. And also, the Future Retro takeover Glastonbury, as fun as it was, they still haven't paid us in full after 6 months.
Yeah, no.
And that puts me in a really awkward position with people I brought on
Yeah.
because I sort of feel like obligated to have them been treated right. And
Yeah.
because of these other people that were the ones in control of it, it sort of made me be in a position where I have to tell them, no, I still haven't got the money for you.
Yeah.
So I'd rather not do that.
Yeah.
Again.
Yeah. I mean, my understanding was that very few people get paid to play at Glastonbury.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We did get paid, but it didn't cover any costs at all.
No.
So like we got a small bit of money and one ticket, and I think we each got one guest list entry.
Yeah.
But I gave mine to Indy because no one would come with me, and she brought Panka with her.
Oh, right, okay, yeah.
So, so I paid for my own hotel at my own cost 'cause I didn't want to camp. I'm not a camper. And paid for my own travel. Paid for all my own stuff for the weekend because I was there Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Yeah.
And pretty much lost money doing Glastonbury. I didn't even enjoy it.
Yeah.
So it's like, do I? Yeah, I mean, I guess I need to be probably a bit less like judgmental in terms of saying every festival stage that I do future retro would be like Glastonbury.
Yeah, no, I think Glastonbury is
Give 'em
probably.
faith.
I just think Glastonbury is just one of those things you kind of have to. It's almost like let's just do that and just do it and have fun and just go. Right, fuck it, I'm just gonna go and have fun. And just,
Because it operates at such a scale where it's like you mean nothing. Like
yeah,
you expect them to care about you when you think Kendrick Lamar is playing the main stage and there's thousands of people there.
I don't get why. If I'm being honest, I don't even get why Glastonbury would even feature, and that's that's no slight to you, but I'm just saying I don't even know why they would even bother featuring. Like, artists like yourself and that, because there's an argument that some people might get to discover you, and there's going to be someone that got to see you that night.
Yeah.
Or day, whatever it was you played, that they'd never seen before. Okay, there's an argument, yeah. But at the same time, they probably would have discovered you anyway. You know what I mean? Like, and I just kind of feel like, you know, I mean, I've been asked this, you know, why do you hate festivals so much? I don't hate festivals. I just, because I think there are festivals that are small enough that matter and that can do something. But I just think that the sheer size and scale of them means that, you know, first of all, a large majority of people are not going to get paid.
Yeah, definitely.
And not featured properly and not promoted properly and you know, not pushed properly. And I just feel like it doesn't make. I see some of these festival events and I know have like, you know, 150 names on there.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, why would you want to be amongst that? You know, I just don't. I think. Well, I don't know. There's probably a few reasons why you'd want to be amongst that, but I don't see how, for jungle and drum and bass, that would really benefit our scene. I just
understand that too, because I feel like, because with Glastonbury, it's the kind of festival where the tickets sell out in like seconds before any lineup is announced. And it's not because of there's going to be jungle or drum bass.
Yes, exactly.
I feel like anyone that wants jungle drum bass probably go to a night for it.
Exactly.
Right. I mean, there are a few people that just at a festival and you stumble upon it and you might enjoy it if that's a priority for you. But like, I feel like when it comes to jungle and drum bass, also I feel like it's best enjoyed in a club setting where you have people's full focus and
Absolutely.
they're dedicated for it, rather than these festivals where it's like, I don't know, you're sort of, like I said earlier, battling for people's attention when you're playing. And also, I also find that with festivals, I'm not a fan of festivals, I'll say. I've played a few of them and it's been mixed results. I really enjoy playing We Out Here. I enjoyed playing Boomtown.
Boomtown was brilliant back in the day,
Yeah. Although they didn't sort me out a lift and I nearly missed my flight for my next booking.
Was that for Jungle Syndicate? Or?
No, that was for a club in Berlin. I can't remember. The club was called Oxy.
Oh, okay.
The event was called Bassquake Weekender.
And
Pinch was playing. Coca Bryce was actually playing as well. He played at Boomtown.
Yeah.
And then we both played the same thing in Berlin, and he had the same situation where he was sort of lift, standing outside Boomtown at 5 in the morning.
Yeah.
To find out what he's doing.
What he's doing is get to the nearest train station. Is it
Winchester, I think.
Winchester, that's it,
Yeah.
No, well, because when I played at Boomtown, it was before it got, I think Boomtown's been bought out.
It has been, yeah.
So I played before that happened. So I was very lucky because the Jungle Syndicate boys looked after me properly.
Oh, nice.
It was the day after my son's first birthday.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I said I couldn't come because they wanted me to come on a Saturday, stay the night, and then play on Sunday.
Okay.
So I said, look, I'm going to come up Sunday morning and then come back Sunday night, like, do you know what I mean? And so I was very, very happy. And Paul, he looked after me. Shout out Paul Syndicate. He did look after me. You know, met me at the station, took me in, whatever. Played my set. That's where I met Squiff.
Oh, wicked, Temmie, nice.
Temmie. That's the first time I met her and played her. I'm sorry, saw her play. Sorry.
Yeah.
And then they, I remember Paul walking me out of the, venue, out of the place and make sure I got in a cab.
Oh, that's
Do you know what I mean? To the station. So, like, if it wasn't for Paul, it would have probably been a terrible experience for me as well. But I was very proud and honoured to play at Boomtown.
Yeah.
But I still think there's room for a mid-scale jungle festival.
Yeah.
Where you could say, for example, you say, all right, you get Future Retro, you get Rupture. Maybe you get Technicality or you get Side Wax. Yeah. You know what I mean? Launch, you get a few of basically all the people that I know. Actually, that might be not a bad idea, actually. Anyway, no.
End the sentence there.
Yeah, actually, it might be. You know what I mean? Because, that might be an idea. But it wouldn't be about the thing at the top. It would be about all the individual brands. And
exactly.
Because I think that's one of the problems with the festival.
Yeah, so sort of be a bit like Clashmouth, but like music. Well, not music, not
no. But maybe that's what Clashmouth Festival. Maybe that's what it needs to be.
Ooh.
You heard it here first.
Exactly. Yeah, get your tickets now.
Yeah. So I have to find a space to do it in, and get everyone. And
how was the last Clashmouth?
It was brilliant. Yeah. It was really good fun. I'm very gutted. That House of Bands is gone. Yeah. But I do have a new venue.
Oh, wicked.
Which I won't be able to announce just yet.
That's fine.
But I've got to finalise a few bits and bobs of them.
Okay, cool.
And we're not gonna, obviously with Dexter being involved with Planet Wax now, it wouldn't really make sense to do it on record because traditionally we always did it on Record Store Day and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know if it made a difference really for us. So and obviously with Dexter, running Planet Wax, we want to scupper him in that way for Record Store Day. So it would make sense to do it, outside of that time. So maybe sort of do something more in the summer.
Yeah, fair enough.
That might make more sense. But we'll see. So. Your day. I mean, do you mind saying what your day job is?
I'm a web developer for a radio company.
Yeah. Because how did you get into web development? How did that happen, or was it just?
So when I went to uni, I did computer science.
Right.
And when I came out of that degree, like of all the modules I did, the only one I really enjoyed doing was web development. So I sort of learned it in my own time, and I applied for a job at this music licensing company in Soho, and I worked there for a year and a bit. Then they got made redundant. I mean, they got put into administration, so I got made redundant, and then I went to work at an agency for Samsung, doing work for them for a year, and then I moved to the company I'm at called Global, and if you know stations like Capital, LBC, Heart, Radio X, all those stations, I basically work on the Global Player website.
Because where were we? And you were at your company's party. Do you remember there was something? I can't remember what it was. There was something that was happening, and it was like you had a company do. It might have been one of your old firms. I know I'm not making this up.
What, did I see you there?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
I don't remember this at all.
Oh man, I wish I could remember where it was. There was somewhere I went to.
Are you sure you're not confusing me with some other
No, I'm not confused. No, I'm not doing that annoying thing. You know what I mean? I'm not doing like, when people like think I'm dexterous and that, you know what I mean, and all that stuff. I get. Do you know what I mean? And that's the thing. Like, do you ever get that? Do people?
Yes, there was actually one time. It was funny enough. I was in Toronto and I was playing this warehouse party where this garage producer named Conductor was headlining in room 1, and I was headlining Jungle in room 2. And someone came up to me and said, "Are you Conductor?" And I said, "No, he stood right next to me." So that was just luck of the draw. Like,
yeah.
There was 50-50 chance one of us is Conductor.
Yeah.
He picked the wrong straw.
He just picked the wrong one.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's the thing. It's like people. I don't know whether this. It might happen to white artists, but it always feels like it happens to black artists more. I don't know.
I feel like I was this more. I try not to take it personally.
No. Well,
if I did, I'd be fuming every night.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing because Hamza had an experience recently.
Oh yes, I remember that.
Yeah, and but people thought he was related to Threshold or whatever. I've had that infamous night where 6 people came up to me thinking I was dexterous.
Wow, 6 people.
Yeah, and the thing is,
the
first 1 or 2, it was kind of funny.
Yeah.
And then 3, and I had a few drinks or whatever. And then 2, 3 and 4, it was like, all right, no, I'm not dexterous. Like, fucking, why are you here if you can't even tell what dexterous looks like? You know what I mean, sort of thing. And then like number 5 started, I got vexed, and number 6 just got screamed at. Do you know what I mean? Because it was just like, what the fuck?
It adds up over time.
It started to get a bit irritating.
Maybe we should all wear name badges.
It's like, you know what I mean? That might be a good idea actually. It's like, I'm not dexterous. Do you know what I mean?
Oh,
But then there was the time when me and Dexter we just started at hospital. And we went to Printworks, for a New Year's dating.
Oh, hospitality.
It wasn't hospitality. It was something else that Tony was playing at, like Electricity, and then we got guesses for it.
Okay.
And then me and Dexter went, and as we were going up the stairs, someone was like, "You Lemon D."
Wow, Lemon D.
And I was like, "Lemon D," and I was like, "You know what? I can't cuss about that." I don't know. I didn't mind being called Lemon D for some reason.
Yeah.
But it's not that I have a problem being called Dexterous. Dexterous, I love you. You know that. It's fine.
Yeah.
But it was just because I could see how it made more sense to me how someone might confuse me for Lemon D, knowing what Lemon D looks like, and Dexterous knowing what Dexterous looks like, because I don't look anything like Dexterous. Do you know what I mean? It's just that I had glasses on. It's the only thing that was.
So it's good you got rid of them now. So now you're
there's no chance of it happening. But
exactly.
I mean, it probably still happens, and I think I do think it probably happens more to. I feel like it happens more to us. I don't know. But there is something I forgot to ask you, which I've asked most of the guests, although I didn't ask Andrew Outrage at the last one.
Oh yeah.
Everyone I've asked if you pretty much called, the music that you perpetuate jungle all the way through this show.
Yeah.
So do you think there is a distinct difference between drum and bass and jungle? Would you say there is?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah.
For me, my distinction is, I'd probably say the breakbeats. I mean, there is drum and bass with breakbeats and jungle without, but I feel like usually that is the separator.
Yeah,
and also I guess sometimes the tempo as well.
Yeah.
Although I don't think it's always such a hard distinction.
Nah. Because I'm sort of still trying to work out what the answer to this is. I still feel like that they're still sort of meshed together. It's drum and bass jungle, and I think that Hamza's answer was brilliant because he sort of said the music might be different, but the culture. So the music, he thinks there's no difference in the music really.
Yeah.
He just feels that the culture behind each form is the same.
That's fair.
Which is really cool.
I just feel that's one of those questions where it's like you get a different answer from every.
Everyone's gonna have a different answer, and I don't think anyone's really wrong or right.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I think there's people that will sort of. I think there's people out there that would say jungle is the blacker stuff, and then drum and bass is like metric or sub focus or something. But I don't really want to do that because I know that, for example, a lot of the music on my label would be considered. Well, I think people would probably call it drum and bass.
Yeah.
But to me, some of it's still jungleistic in nature.
Yeah, still with the roots. Cause
so
how much do you need to change the formula before it becomes something
else? Right.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean. It's just like it is a bit of a strange one for me. So you said you don't want people to hear, or maybe I'm misquoting you slightly. You're not sure if you want people to hear all your non-jungle stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, is there any possibility that could happen? That you do a future retro sort of offshoot label and start putting out?
I could do. I mean,
Dwight does all this garage
yeah,
stuff.
he does
right?
high rise, does garage stuff. I think if I was to do it, I would do it in a way where it wouldn't be linked to the label.
Right.
I sort of would want it to be, because I'm sort of torn, because there's this idea of like a new fresh start, a clean slate, allow people to make their own perceptions, but then also like people like Photech and Breakage, they went to different styles, they kept the same name, because ultimately the name is just who they are. It's
yes,
not
I
like
agree, yeah.
Photech is just the jungle. It's like you do all stuff as Photech and all stuff as Breakage.
Yeah.
And also same with Calibre to a degree.
Yeah.
I know he was doing slower stuff under his real name, Dominic Martin, but he also does slow stuff as Calibre too.
Yeah.
So I feel, and also you as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love the idea of keeping the same name.
Yeah. So I think it's just like when I have that burning urge to actually get it out there, then I'll probably have to make the decision then. Until then I'll just sit on my hands.
And obviously there's been a lot of Eamon on your label.
Yeah, a lot.
Right, so
yeah,
I'm going to have to ask you.
Yeah, go on.
Do you have a top 5 Eamon producers? Would you say like...
Old or new?
I mean, do you have to differentiate? I don't know.
Okay, I'll do a bit of both. So I'll say, this is in no particular order. The first one that came to my head is probably Kid Lib, because I don't know how he gets his... I've actually watched him doing his edits on MPC. It's just ridiculous, like how quickly he can get some pretty complex patterns done. And he taught me this idea of theming your edits. So like if you're going to do like pitching, you stick with that throughout the tune. You don't do like pitching and filters and time stretch. You sort of pick one and you specialise in it rather than throwing all your tricks into one tune. I sort of feel like sometimes that can help make edits feel a bit more coherent. It was a really strange idea at first, but I listened to more of his music and I hear this theming concept behind it.
Yeah, I think I
really like that.
disagree with that.
Yeah, and that's also the person I was going to name afterwards, Equinox, because to me Equinox, like his music old and new, it always inspires me in everything I make. He knows I'm obsessed with his old stuff, but I also really enjoy the new stuff he's currently putting out on Cywax. He doesn't put out that much of his new stuff though.
Unfortunately.
But like, he's got people like Dub One and Beaky and Nebula still carrying the sound and they do really well at it. So yeah, I'd probably say Kid Lib, Equinox. Who else would I say? I guess I'd say Remark as well, because he really seems to take edits to a new level. Because like, I remember when I first heard Remark tunes, I was just baffled. I was like, at first I couldn't even really follow the rhythm in the way he was chopping up tunes like Ice Cream and Syrup and Sound Murder remix.
You can sing. That's what I mean. You could sing his fucking edits. That's what I love about Remark.
Yeah, absolutely. And then Breakage as well. I think the first Breakage tune I heard was... It was on Bassman. I think it was So Vain.
So Vain, right.
And what I like about him is sometimes he can actually just roll an amen, but it still like has loads of motion in it. But then when he chops up, like, Acid Rain VIP.
Absolutely.
That tune, like, I tried to like process it in one sitting when I first heard it, and I was like, I had to keep stopping and starting from the beginning. Like, wow. And also when I found out like he recreated all the edits from the original.
From the original, and
then used that as a basis to sort of make his stuff. I was like,
Trance for me.
Trance as well. Yeah, and another one is put on the label, Circumference.
Circumference, as well, yeah.
Yeah, that tune.
Yeah. But that's not Eamon though, but yeah.
It's not Eamon,
but
it's choppage.
Yeah.
And the fifth guy, or fifth person. Yeah. At push, I'd probably say someone like Busy Bee.
Okay.
Yeah,
like, absolutely.
The stuff he did on Brain Records, on Joker Records, the Dream Team stuff.
Yeah.
I think Stamina was one of the first jungle tunes I heard after Dread Bass Super Sharp Shooter, and like the snare rolls and that just looks like machine guns, it's like right in your chest.
Yeah, because that's what the time we have the Dread, that original Ascend and Ultra vibe.
Yeah.
It was shout out Back to Basics.
Oh yeah, they got some mixture on that label.
Always Back to Basics. Like I was lucky enough to go to Wednesbury and meet Jason Ball.
Oh really? The JB? Oh,
I went and met Jason Ball, and they were all wearing Stone Island.
Nice.
And he used Music X.
Really?
Yeah. Because he was remixing the Grand Larceny thing. Because you know he did the remix of Everybody.
Oh, it's called Hard Knocks.
Yeah,
the Back to Basics remix.
Yeah, the Back to Basics remix. He was actually.
Oh, you met him at that session?
He was in the process of doing that tune. He thought, "Oh, I've just finished this," and it was like, "Ooh, ah, yes, oh, yeah, doom, 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 doom." Actually, I was very honoured to meet them.
What a tune!
Bad tune, and yeah, like people don't talk about Back to Basics very much, but
not at all.
There's some tunes on that label.
Oh, there is.
What
kind of world?
I'm getting proper goosebumps thinking about some of their tunes on the label, because there's some tunes on that label that really influenced me massively. You know, Dread Bass. I remember. I'm not going to blow up his spot, but there's one of my close friends at the time. He absolutely hated Dread Bass because it had the wah bass.
Oh yeah, it's a bit dividing.
Yeah. So it's like something really like the wah. I didn't mind it because I wasn't really listening to the bass line because it was because it was carrying the beat, like, you know, it was just something to hear underneath the beat. Yeah. But I just love the you know you know what I mean, and I just loved the way the beats in that went. Yeah. But then the is it Desired State remix?
Oh yeah. Oh no, Origin Unknown.
Origin Unknown. Thank you. Sorry, the Origin Unknown remix. Yeah. And you know where they made that more sort of expansive, futuristic.
They're really good at doing that in their remixes.
I mean, that was like, that was a great time, and that's what I mean. Like, it's funny because that's the sort of era that future retro, a lot of music, sort of future retro, is kind of based around.
Inspired by,
sort of like so post 94.
Yeah, 94, 95.
94,
say,
just most of 94, 95. Right, okay. Yeah.
I'd like to try and get some more stuff on there because I feel like after so many releases, I can't just keep hammering this one nail.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Because I mean, I do often wonder, like, it's like, would you ever? Yeah, because I've always tried to push forward with perspective.
Oh yeah, of course. You can hear it in the releases.
Yeah, I've always tried to push forward. Always tried to keep pushing, and the stuff that we got coming again is just going to keep doing that. But you know. I'm always amazed by the amount of interest that people like yourself and others, you know, like people are going to a Distant Planet and events like that, and a Rupture actually, because you know, obviously you've got the old school room and the new school room and all that sort of stuff. And to be honest, like, most of the time I go to Rupture now, I mean, what they consider the old school room, I guess. Not that I have anything against the new school stuff, but I just like seeing the energy for. You know, tunes that are probably older than most of the people in that room as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it does make me really happy because I never dreamed back then that people would still be listening to certain sounds. You know,
like when you did the Tech Unlimited repress, I don't think you probably imagined that release to have so much lifespan.
No, I mean not in a million years. And you know, and that's not to be disparaging to the tune. It's just that, you know, you expect things to move forwards and people to kind of. But it just goes to show that, you know, the ingenuity that was in a lot of that music, you know, is still very attractive to a lot of people today. You know, to the point where like techno labels like, you know, Lobster Theremin are trying to put out, you know, they were going to put out jungle release. I mean, even Bodika, because he started putting out the Source Direct stuff.
Yes, he did. Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, you know, because I was a massive fan of Source Direct. You know, even though he's known in this, you know, in this other world, he's the complete and utter fanboy for I've spoken to him about it personally. You know, so it's great to see, and long may it continue. And you know, I just hope it does. You know?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. Also, honourable mentions to Paradox as well. You can see Chops a good amen.
You know
Dillinger,
what?
Lemon D.
Yeah. See, Lemon D don't get enough credit as well.
Oh, not at all.
Because like, Don't Make Me Wait.
Oh, that's a cracking tune. I remember because he used to do shows every Monday on Jungle Train in Perspective, or was it every second Monday? And he played Feel It by Lemon D. And that was the first time I'd ever heard it, and I was like, what is this tune?
How he got the Amen sounding like that?
It's huge on that.
It sounds so massive, and it's just that last. It's the last section of Feel It when it just he absolutely
just builds and builds.
Yeah, it's one of my. It's like I never really mention him enough because I think people kind of immediately go to Dillinger, but because you know I'd love to get you know Lemon D on, you know, to ask him about that, but you know, Don't Make Me Wait and Feel It. what's the one that This Is LA.
Oh yeah, this
right?
is yeah.
You know,
tune.
because again,
On Metalheads.
Right?
Yeah.
But again, it's sort of like got that slightly, I don't want to say cheesy, but you know that intro.
Yeah.
That's quite recognisable, and motify. But then when you check the edits and the beats, outstanding.
Yeah.
Another tune actually that I've got that I keep is oh yeah. It's God. See, so this is one of them points when I need people to bloody type in the.
What label was it on?
It was oh yeah.
Oh, that's Fallen Angels.
Thank you. There you go.
That's not Lemon D. That's
no, it's not Lemon D.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah. What are you talking about?
But I'm just talking about other lemon like that.
Yeah.
It's just they're just like aiming tunes that have always sort of stuck in my head over the years.
Yeah.
But Feel It though, going back to Lemon D, Feel It though. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Just because of the intro is so fucked as well. That beat is like not.
Yeah.
It's like, why would you leave it like that? It's so loose. You know what I mean? And it's a pain in the ass to mix. But then once it drops, bass line, just boom, boom, boom. That's it. You know what I mean? And Feel It, just like almost a quintessentially perfect tune, really.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, but Paradox though, Uncertain Journey.
Oh, but Alaska and Paradox, yeah, that one.
Yeah, Alaska and Paradox. Like it. I mean, I remember me and Marlon when Bookham played that on Kiss FM.
Yeah.
And then Marlon had it on a tape. Equinox, sorry.
Yeah.
And on a tape, we were in his old, you know, his fucking Escort, whatever super duper car it was. I can't remember what it was called. And just rocking out to the car, to that tune in the car, and then like police officers like seeing us like dancing in the car, and like people wonder what the hell what we did, or these two crackheads in the car. But it was.
I remember when you played Rupture a few years ago. You played that tune, but you also played Car Crash by Seba.
Car Crash is a special tune because of the double bass. See, because it had a double bass line, and so it was a little bit original, a little bit different. It had that orchestral thing, you know, like the way it broke down. You know, I remember him playing the first version of that at Ministry of Sound.
Okay.
When they had the progression sessions at Ministry of Sound.
Yeah.
And he was wearing a white shirt. I remember it's like a DJ wearing sort of like Adam and the Ants, almost like blowy, windy kind of white shirt with his like neck open, playing all this stuff. But you know, Car Crash again was one of my all-time favourite Eamon tunes because of the way it sounded. It sounded a little bit different as a and so basically I was begging him to remix it or do like a new version, or doing it another version of it, whatever. He said no. I said, well look, you know, can you just give me another version of Car Crash with perspective? And that's what became No One Dies.
Oh, wicked tune, with Islander. That's a great release.
Yeah. So, you know, it wasn't really, I mean, obviously it wasn't the same tune, but it was, you know, it was in spirit of Car Crash. Yeah. But there's so many, and I might have to do a little supplemental, you know, and just talk about, because I mean, there's the J Magic Arabian Nights.
Oh yes, I love that tune.
Just again, in terms of atmosphere, that was a Blue Note tune. In terms of atmosphere, the way it starts, it was kind of doom dum dum dum, and the people don't give J Magic enough props for. Well, I've always given you props, Jamie, for the sound design.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Because where he gets the noises from, I don't know, man. Either. That noise at the drop of whatever that noise is, and then and Adam's Rib. There's another.
Oh yeah, In the Visions on the compilation, the Cutting Edge compilation.
God.
Yeah.
At the end, just that noise at the end of when he breaks it down and is the last section. Like we used to play at Technicality. Used to get to that part. Just had to rewind it. It's like near the end of the tune. Still had to rewind it because it just made everyone go so mad.
What were the Technicality rewind tunes then?
Well, there's a few.
Yeah.
I mean, it's funny because I was, you know, Dance of the Titanium Minds was one. Ink was on here. Obviously.
Oh yeah. Architects.
That was obviously a massive tune. Wow, you got me on the spot here a little bit. There's a few. I mean, well, for me, Funky Mule by Paradox.
Oh, wicked.
Yeah, it'd be a Paradox. Yeah.
Paradox,
But and then there was the one on the Drumworks EP. I can never remember the fucking name of it though, because I always call it the typewriter tune, because it Because it breaks up the wow, wow. So the one on Reinforced, it's a Drumworks EP, it's called. And it's got like the 4 tracks, and then one of them has like all the sort of didgeridoo sounds, and I can never remember which one that one is called. But then it's like, you know, at the end, like after the breakdown, it has this bit where it just absolutely escalates to new levels, and it's always got a beat, and it always sounds like a typewriter going across. I always sorry, it's stupid. Acid Rain remix, obviously, and then when there was the VIP, the you know, the final chapter. Yeah. And there was another version of Acid Rain remix that Breakage did that had the string like an octave lower.
Oh, okay.
And I know I've got the CD somewhere, but I'm gonna have to find it. But that one as well, like, because I think I only got played maybe once or twice. What other tunes? There's a couple of Spirit ones.
Oh yeah.
Digital. Oh, fucking. Dun 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 dun. Watch it.
Watch it. Yeah, watch it. Yeah. On Reinforced. Oh yes. Yes.
That tune.
Yes.
Yeah, that used to get played a lot. Oh, and see, the name's not coming to me, but there's a few. There are a few. I might have to do. It'll be fun. I might have to try and do like a sound spot, because a lot of them probably on Spotify or on YouTube. Might have to spend a bit of time and do like a playlist. Yeah. And try and find like technicality classics or something. You know what I mean? It might be fun to do, because there was so much joy to be had. And I mean, you know, even actually, to be honest, song of the, was it Song of the Cellar or the Kloop thing? It's like, it was on 31, I think.
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Because that was first played by Brett, and then once he played it, everyone started playing it. And Deep Blue as well, his thing on 31.
Immersion. Or the other side. The other side.
You've got the that one. Yeah, whichever side that is. So that's another one. Yeah. And Undiscovered Journey. And then, but then, you know what I mean? Like Fracture and Neptune, they would have their ones. Yeah. You know, Marlon would have his. There'll be certain things like, I mean, the thing is, I would play. I mean, when I first played, there's a track off the first Villain Mills, the Profane album.
Kevlar Switch.
Kevlar Switch is pretty special.
That is my favourite tune on the album. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, you know what mine is Way Up High.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, because you know how you'll have some comedians, for example, when they talk about how they enjoy bombing.
Oh yeah, of course.
And making no one laugh.
Talks about that, and Jim Norton as well talk about how much they can make the crowd uncomfortable. Patrice O'Neill used to talk about that. Yeah,
all the time. Patrice O'Neill is one of my all-time favourites. And he talks about because then it means that you're forced into getting them to like you again.
Yeah,
right?
building back up.
So I used to play Way Up High for the same reason.
Okay.
Because it always made everyone stop dancing.
Yeah, of course.
Because no one understood what the fuck was going on.
Yeah.
And I would just be standing there laughing my head off, and then I'd be like, oh shit, I better get them playing now. And it always made me kind of like, all right, okay, I really got to win them back. Yeah. And that's why I loved Way Up High, because it's still a genius tune. People still get thrown by it. Yeah. And Profane is one of the most original artists, I think, you know, to ever exist within the realm of jungle. Although he probably wouldn't call himself a jungle artist really, but you know, he's just on another level. But all the cadence recording stuff.
Oh yeah, Oral and Balance.
Oral and Balance, one of my all time favourite producers.
Yeah, I remember Marlon used to tell me that stuff like Blame used to come to Technicality, and the 720 Degree stuff used to get played there.
All their stuff, Blame used to come. Like, I remember the day when Photech come, when he turned up. I didn't know what to say to him.
Yeah, of course, I wouldn't know what to say to him.
I just said, thanks for the music. And I just walked off. It was like a dickhead. I just didn't, what am I going to say to him? We don't really become pals, do you know what I mean? Like, I just didn't know what to say. I was just like, I was completely starstruck. I mean, you know, I remember when, you know, Remark come down and, you know, and then discovered El Hornet from Pendulum. Oh, yeah. He used to secretly go. I mean, I say secretly, he used to just turn up to the night, but none of us knew, you know, we didn't know him, and he used to come to the nights because he lived around the corner. Oh, yeah. And he told me, you know, some years later that he used to go. It was our own little, you can never compare to Blue Note, but it was, you know, a version, I guess, you know, me and Marlon went to Blue Note. Yeah. And then once that finished, I didn't seem to be anything sort of happening in the sort of more beats. Kind of, beat side of things. Because the tech step thing took over, and don't get me wrong, I've got no hate for Nico or Eddie Russian Optical. I absolutely love
bad tunes on them.
All of that. I've got it all the early, you know,
No U-Turn,
and you know, Virus and all that. I've got all of them. I loved them all. You know, the album, the virus, the Dead Russian Optical album.
Wormholes.
Oh
yeah, quality tunes.
Seminal album.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, I have no issue with any of that. I absolutely love all of it. But it wasn't what I wanted to hear all the time.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Like
I wanted to hear some chopping.
To dominate the style. At the time.
Did. Yeah, it came in and everyone started doing it, right? Yeah. And then. So I guess with Technicality when we started, it was just about, again, the watchword was always representing the underrepresented. So it was just stuff we didn't get to hear out that often. And now it's great because there's loads of stuff like, you've got yourself, you've got Rupture, you've got so many different people out there doing things now. It's not a problem. Although I do miss the atmospheric stuff.
Oh yeah, of course, because
I do miss that.
You don't really hear that very often in the clubs.
Not at all. You won't hear Oral Imbalance.
Yeah. It's a weird one because I feel like crowds seem to really want just bangers now. I'm not sure if that's like the DJ thinking they want bangers or like the DJ playing someone that they don't really respond to and sort of like having to go into panic mode.
I think.
Oh, and also sometimes some sound systems aren't really good at pads, so they sort of just cut through like really painful sound.
Yeah. I mean, I think I mean, you might have that might be several reasons actually. I think maybe I think a lot of venues are too big for like atmospheric.
Yeah.
Stuff. Do you know what I mean? Which sounds weird because obviously good looking and such like used to be.
Huge.
This is Ministry of Sound and it seemed to work there. But even then, there were certain tracks that didn't get played or maybe that didn't go down. I mean, if you think about like guys like Intersperse or KMC or
PhD.
See, there's a track called Cybergenetics by PhD, Aim and Thing.
Oh, what label did it come?
No, it's on Ascendant Grooves.
Oh, Ascendant Grooves.
Yeah, they had like a compilation.
Yeah, the compilation. I got that CD. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's on that.
Yeah.
And basically, it was a mistake, wasn't it? So sorry, revealing all your secrets, but he told me what happened because in the tune, it goes boom, 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 and then it sort of boom, 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 right? But it was supposed to have just the beginning bit of the Amen, but they left it like that.
Okay.
It sounded really good, so they never bothered putting in the first part of the Amen. And I always loved the fact that they thought, oh no, fuck it, we don't need that bit. We just kept start from snare.
Oh, sick.
Yeah, so Cybergenetics, PhD. That's another amazing tune.
Yeah.
And a lot of the when Blame was really hot, like on with Mechanism. Like again, oh my god, I'm getting goosebumps. Mechanism, because the way that tune starts.
Yeah.
How clever Conrad was in using. Sounds and because you always needed like the tickers and the little
little effects and
little stuff
to
get because a lot of people just do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But Blame never wanted to do that, and so he always had really clever ways of sort of like laying those tunes out. Blue My 10,
Blue My 10 definitely.
Some of the tracks that Blue My 10 did Glow or Bro, sorry.
Bro, BRO, Future Proof. What's that one? Adrift on, I can't remember that one. It's on Earth Volume 2, I think, or Volume 3.
What, from Blue My 10?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I have to remember.
Yeah.
Earth Volume 3, Blue My 10 tune. Yeah. Someone out there, please.
Starts off with Adrift, the name of it, Adrift.
Right. I can't remember it, but there's Sympathy and T and Sympathy.
Yeah.
As well. I mean,
also Artemis as well.
Artemis was
the pads on those tunes are so
bad
rich.
Man. Yeah.
Nice and full pads on his tunes.
Such a bad man. Yeah. Absolute don, mate.
Yeah.
And I think there was that whole thing with Artemis because it was like he was on Renegade, wasn't he?
Yeah, Shogun and Renegade.
He was on Shogun and Renegade, and he got sort of snatched up by Bookham, and there's all that. Clayton talks about it in his autobiography.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was. I mean, there was a lot of amazing music written around that time, and no one really plays any of that now.
No, not at all.
And it's something I kind of sort of maybe earmarked for. I want to bring Technicality back next year.
Oh, that'd be good.
Because our 25th anniversary next year.
25th.
Yeah, and
You're as old as me.
Yeah. Thanks. Yeah, thanks. Remind me how fucking old I am. And I think, Rupture got the sort of like dubwisey Amen thing down.
Yeah, definitely.
There's the sort of like different sounds, that Distant Planet and yourself are doing. So it would make sense that if I brought Technicality back, it'd be the sort of more experimental and atmospheric.
Yeah, different angle.
Yeah, and just sort of maybe do it that way. So yeah, I definitely would need to think about that. But I think I've got the venue for it, and so and I want to do it somewhere small and longer sets and.
Okay, that'd be good.
Yeah, because I mean all that stuff lends itself. And actually, there's still there's Omni Music, Chris Wright.
Yeah, Eschaton.
Yeah, exactly. There's still a lot of people making music in that style. So a little bit like yourself, there's going to be, you know, new music made in that style. And hopefully you encourage other people to start making.
Oh,
tunes.
definitely.
You know, I mean, I bet there's loads of people that make sort of like derivative choppage. You know, not derivative, sorry, sort of like that standard choppage sort of thing.
Yeah.
But then, you know, have got that tune that they don't play out because
Yeah,
it's too,
definitely.
You know, it's too atmospheric or it's too mellow or whatever. And I'm like, no, this is the tune we want.
It's the place you can play it and
Yeah,
people
exactly.
actually enjoy it and you'll
Yeah.
not feel any pressure to not have to play it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, like Big Bud, Chill. There's a track by.
Oh yeah, Big Bud, yeah.
I mean, Chill. You know, in terms of, I was massively influenced by Chill. This tune, just, you know, if you listen to a lot of my music, like it's that sort of techno house thing.
Yeah.
You know, almost on drum and bass beats.
Oh,
that
yeah.
he's doing. So, you know, but anyway, we could do this for hours, mate. Do you know what I mean? And like, you know, so anything you want to plug before we go?
Just that Future Retros. Well, I haven't really announced it publicly, but next year I think I've got about 2 releases to come out every month.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, because basically what happened was at some point this year I realised, because I use Record Industry to manufacture my vinyl, and it was currently 36 weeks after test press approval. It's basically like 6 to 8 months. So there was a point I reached this year where it's like anything I send off now is not coming out till next year. But I was still sending off a lot, and I'll just send off batches, and I'll be like, alright, next year I can sort of somewhat schedule it. So I've somewhat...
You never thought about doing a subscription?
I would like to. I have thought about it, but I sort of am happy with people just buying
each release.
If they don't want it, they don't have to feel like they have to have a copy because they're subscribed.
But you probably look at the data and find it's the same. You know.
Oh, there is a lot of people.
Yeah, it's probably there's going to be at least 50. Well, I don't know how many you sell. You know, to reveal. But I'm just saying, like, you know, there's probably the same 100 people, 150 people that buy every release anyway.
Yeah, there is. There is.
So that definitely. I mean, that was. I mean, I remember doing the maths for it for hospital.
Oh, okay.
And it didn't make financial sense for them. Because every release was so very massively different. Do you know what I mean? Like people that like King of the Rollers wouldn't like this, and you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
it's funny because I remember when I first got into hospital, it was a completely different business model where it's like they had 4 or 5 artists all doing the same sort of stuff.
Yeah.
It's basically just that.
Yeah.
And the hospital just do a bit of everything now. Not sure if that was like, oh yeah, fair enough.
Whatever makes money, man.
Yeah, of course.
So I'm wringing my hands and you know what I mean, the therapy. So I work for it in therapy.
Yeah, cool.
But I think that might be something I want to consider because I think you'll probably have right now 100 people that would give you X amount a month, knowing that they'll get at least so many releases.
Yeah, definitely.
And there's not many labels that can do that. Certainly not within Jungle. There are outside of Jungle.
Yeah.
In hip hop and Blah Records, for example, and you know, in rock, you know, and you know, heavy metal and stuff.
Yeah.
And you see people happily hand over X amount a month, knowing that they'll get this, and you can give them digital extras and all sorts of stuff. Do you know what I mean? But it's worth thinking about.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. It could be interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, just that, and I'm not sure if I should plug some of the tours I've got next year.
Yeah, go on, man, do it.
Well, I've got an Australia-New Zealand tour.
Yeah.
I've got an Asia tour, so I'll be playing Japan, South Korea, and Singapore.
Nice.
Then I've got a US tour with Dward. That'll be a back-to-back tour we're doing. And then next Future Retro, not announced a date yet, it's going to be in February. I want to try doing a longer format night because I would like to try and maybe get more people involved in it rather than just only being limited to 3 people at a time. 3 other DJs anyway.
Yeah. And
loads of music. I think I've got about like 40 Tim Reef releases for next year lined up.
Cool, son. That's what I like.
It's something alright. Hopefully all goes to plan, who knows.
Yeah, well, I'm sure it will, man, and I'm sure your successes will continue.
Yeah, thank you, man. Yeah, it's funny because I remember, I think when I first saw you DJ, it was at Rhythm Factory. I'm not sure if it was Technically or Jungle Syndicate. But I played a remix I did, a bootleg of Cold Fresh Air by Higher Sense.
I do remember that, yeah.
I remember the first time I spoke to you on AO Instant Messenger was me thanking you for playing that remix, and that was 12 years ago.
Jesus. Yeah. Well, I appreciate your letter. See, not many people know this.
Yes.
I got a lovely letter from Tim. It was just during lockdown?
Yeah, when I started my label.
Yeah, you started the label and you sent me a lovely letter. I won't say what was in it, but I did cry. That's what I'm going to say. Because it really meant a lot. Yeah. And I've not always been correct in my decision making on a lot of things, but you know, I always feel like I've been able to spot talent when I see it, and you were certainly another example of that. So
thank you, mate.
long may it continue, brother. Long may it continue.
Fingers crossed.
You're fine, man. You're good. You're good. Well, look, my man. Thank you for coming. Appreciate it.
On,
yeah, no worries. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Cheers, man.
And we'll catch you on the next one.
Cheers, bro.
Peace.